Hello, 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 and welcome to Khosi Nation Fan TV. I am Bello, I am your host. This is where fans meet and talk about Kaizer Chiefs. I'm a Khosi Football Club. So, we just won against Chippa United, and I am not over the moon, right? But at the same time, the win is a win. I'm happy with the win. But there's a lot to talk about when it comes to the game. So we will just go through the game and try to look at what happened in the game and going forward, how and what we should do to make sure we do better. Because looking at the log right now, we have 5 games remaining. Wait, why am I saying 5 games? Let me confirm how many games we have remaining. Right now, Chiefs, after winning against Chippa United, no, we have 3 games remaining, 28, 29, 30. We have 3 games remaining, not 5. Excuse me. We have 3 games remaining, and one of them is Super Sport. The other is Cape Town City. Yes, 3 games, not 5. My bad. So we have 3 games remaining. One is against Super Sport. One is against Super Sport, who are competing against, by the way, for a top 3 finish. And then the other one is against Cape Town City, who are just the team that I think were the worst performance against this season. So I think there's a lot to break down. First of all, we'll start with the good, right? So we'll try to balance, right? When we talk about the negatives, which there are a lot of, but we'll also try to balance with the positives because there were some positives. I'm not thrilled, I'm not over the moon about everything else, but I will talk about the things that the things that were positive as well. So one positive thing is that Hlanti was back in the game and he played. He was awake the entire game, didn't fall asleep. Going forward, he still needs a lot to do, but obviously the legs are gone. You can even see when he's trying to sprint forward. Which I know, he can't go forward and come backwards. But what I will say is that at the very least, with Uhlande today, you got that assurance that you didn't have with Frosler last week. Not last week, at the weekend. Because at the weekend, you were scared to go say Frosler is about to do me wrong. But Uhlande, at least, yeah, and he was solid defensively. You can say Chiefs didn't have much to do defensively, but we didn't concede, right? Because Kukune, we didn't have much to do defensively, but when we did have something to do defensively, which was once, we considered a goal. This game we didn't concede a goal, and Uhlanti, there were times where intercepted key balls that were going to be dangerous to Chiefs. So that counts as a good performance. Centre back pairing Gezana alongside Ngobo, because Ngobo came in today. That was also good. They played well together. The problem, right? Because we're saying positive, then negative. The problem is this. Uguti, they were kicking the ball way too much. Like they were just kicking the ball too much. It was too much. Like really, 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 really too much. Like all the time we get the ball, we're kicking the ball. All the time we get the ball, we kick it. Get it? Kick it. Why are we doing that? Right. So kuluma ngozwane in a second. Because kukhona ukuthi you are playing against a Kaizer United, a Kaizer Stars, right? Kaizer Stars comes at you, they leave space behind. So you kick the ball behind them so that you can catch them on Guma count. But if you are going to play against the Chippa United, who are actually pressing, who are not pressing you, who are sitting deep, then why are you kicking the ball? No particular reason that you can tell me. And because of that, it was this ping pong thing. Yoguti were always just trying to kick the ball all the time. And there was no reason for that. You go to right back here to Frosla, who ended up being a man of the match. I had to drink some water for that. Because why was he the man of the match? I don't get it. Why was he the man of the match? Because last I checked, I didn't see anything that was so impressive for him to be man of the match. Like I would even go as far as if you ask me who was the man of the match, I would even give it to Dupree because he scored a good goal. I would give it to him too. He worked harder. I would give it to Ungobo. He played a solid game after not being available for the longest time. Like, but not to Frosler. I don't know who decided to Frosler had the best game, like had the best performance than any other Kaizer Chiefs player who was playing today. Ngeke. Hayi, yabo abantu abakhetha ama-man of the match nabo sometimes bazokumangaza. I don't get how that happened. So, and then midfielders, too. I will just say this and be blunt. Umathi uyazidlisa, guys. Umathi nje uyazidlisa. He loses the ball way too many times. He can't pick the pass to save his life, it seems. Like ibhola uhlezi lilahla uMathi, and that doesn't sit well with me. Like always losing the ball. And that's one of his primary roles. Ukuthi he's there so that he can help us move the ball from midfield to armor forwards, to carry the ball. He doesn't carry the ball. All the time man might hold ball funa ukudlala 1-2. And Leo 1-2 Leo doesn't succeed because he's trying to force it into spaces that are not even existing. Umtu was good when it comes to working hard and trying to defend, but otherwise there wasn't much that you saw from him. Ama forwards too, they were too pinned against ama fullbacks, and because of that there was too much space between ama fullbacks too nama forward too, and because of that you just couldn't play ama ball and try to make 2 passes, 3 passes, take the ball into midfield, play it wide, and then again you can try and play ama ball behind. No, we're just forcing things all the time, and because of that things were not coming off. As for Guti, what am I saying and what do I think Uzwane? I think Uzwane must really do some self-reflection himself as a coach. Uguti, what does he actually want to do in the remaining 3 games? Because if he comes to me tonight and say he can't come to me, but if he just gave me a call and say, hey, Lalela Mpilo, this is what I'm trying to do with the Chiefs right now. I am trying to win the remaining games. Then I would say, okay, so this is not your style of play, right? If this is not your style of play, great. We're going to resume our style of play beginning of the season. We'll start practicing during the preseason. We'll practice and make sure we are ready for the next season. But if this is how we're going to play, this is still Makita Spegan, I will just give him an excuse. Yoguti, I've heard him say they want to grind results. But if this is not a we are trying to grind results performance and it's just a this is how we play performance, then I'm worried. I am worried if that's the case, because that is not a way that I want the team to play. I don't think any Kaizer Chiefs fan who watched the match today thought, okay, this is a good match that I'm enjoying. We didn't. Please like the video, by the way. And subscribe to the channel. So, because if you look at it, Chippa today, they respected us, and rightfully so, because they knew and they know every other team that plays against the Chiefs knows Uguti Chiefs has pacey wingers, has pacey forwards, and don't try them. And then they respected us. And the other problem, Shen, I will always say this and preface this before I say anything. Uzwane ngiyamthanda and ngiyafuna qhubeka coach Chiefs. But if he's going to struggle to make changes, like that game needed even much earlier, I wouldn't have brought on Usekhota over Mashian. I said this when we were doing a watch along with it. I would have brought on Umatlo earlier on to come and control Izinto in our midfield. Put him too wide because he's smarter than Mashiane. He can go collect the ball. He can take on players. He's just a better player than Mashiane. Put him too wide because he knows when to drop and collect the ball. He knows when to run in behind. So I would play him as a winger. Go play him wide and then bring on Umatlo to play as a 10 because we saw Uti Bola were not playing in midfield. So Dlalo Matlo as a 10, play him there, or bring on Usamgelo second half. But Usamgelo, the problem is he can't play as a 10. That's a problem. So then the person who could have been a solution is Umatlo. Usamgelo cannot play as a 10. We've seen it in the previous two games. Uguti, when he's too further up the pitch, he fails to get into the game because he needs to be deeper and collect the ball. So the person who could have helped the situation is bring on Umatlo earlier and then dictate izinto in the midfield. If ubona, not if ubona, since we're not really being destroyed when it comes to our defensive side of play, then umathi you don't need him. Uyakudlisa mkhiphe ufake umuntu ufake uZwane and then ufake noMatlo. Badlale boba u3 Matlo uZwane Step, because Step is still gonna be defensive. Step is still gonna be solid enough to dictate to play the ball because that's what it does. He works hard, collects the ball, and he brings in the other players that he's playing with into play. So Matlo was also going to help with that. Uzwana is also capable of playing the ball if you're playing him deeper. But Umat kept on losing the ball. Mashiane wasn't doing much on the left. He did have a few good passes, but for the majority of the game, he didn't play really well. So it was just worrying how Uzwane just watched the game when he could have made subs. So overall, the game was disappointing, but some results they were good, and ultimately you want to win because now if we go back once again and look at that log table, you look right now and you're in a situation whereby so we have the Swallows on Monday, right? So Chiefs is playing Swallows on Monday, which should be a win. You should expect that. You have the Swallows on the 1st of May, which is once again a game that will be playing against a team that will be sitting back. So you have the Swallows, you win that game, you are at 37, you are at 47 points, and then you play the next game, and the next game is Zip Derby. Okay, leave it Derby. But the game after that, if we're at 47 points, we play against Super Sport, who will be probably at 50 points. And you beat Super Sport and hope they lose or draw a game somewhere. Then all of a sudden you're in the top 3. So it's still possible to go to a CAF if we can win the remaining 3 games. It's just looking highly unlikely for us because the game that I can say would play into our hands is Cape Town City, because I know they will be playing the ball and the Chiefs doesn't have the problem. Yes, Tsepo Chiefs won. Chiefs wouldn't have a problem with playing against the Cape Town City because of the counters that will play. So that's the only advantage that we have against Cape Town City. But against Super Sports, against Swallows, so banenkinga because once again, they sit deep and we fail to break them down. That could just be the problem. Super Sports, they are good at set pieces. We are poor at set pieces. And Ukavin Hunt scores ngama set pieces. So I worry when we play games like this where we could just destroy teams, but we end up not doing that. And because of that, games end up looking nonsensical like this. Anyways, ngizobukela ama-comments, ngizofunda ama-comments enu right now and hear what you say. Also, please like the video. Manda saying, when Arthur says Kaizer Chiefs plays well, and what game was this guy watching? I think a translation, Uguta, I will not criticize my players in public because I don't think any coach can logically sit there, realistically sit there for 90 minutes and see players kicking the ball for 90 minutes and come out and say they played well. They didn't. Utemba is saying, man, I'm not okay. Sora 3 games. Gift is saying, yo, what a poor performance. I would say, Uti, this was bad. Yabogoti Sekukune was even worse. Sekukune was a true horror show. This was bad, but Sekukune was really horrible. And this game also, I think you got to see some players kind of ukuthi this is what they can do. Yabo. Kwiza Kukune, they closed all the spaces that we could use. But I think that also just comes down to the coaching that goes on in those teams. Ukuthi they set up in a way that was even better, that was going to make sure Guti Chiefs has no chance. Ugift is saying any updates about King and Toli? Utoli is out for the rest of the season with that knee injury. That's why I was crying. He knew what was happening or what had happened to him. Lungile is saying our midfield was a problem to me. They couldn't hold the ball at all. Everything was rushed. Exactly. Ilending isho ukuthi Umat all the time is trying to move the ball as quickly as possible. And we're not especially now that he's given the captain's armband, because he's going to keep the belt going forward as well, because Utol is not available. So as a captain, you're a captain and you're a midfield. So you have two responsibilities. Tell the players, guys, let's keep the ball and play the ball. And it's your position as well, Guti. Just keep the ball, play the ball. But bona ibhola bafuna ukuthi likhahlele all the time. And that's just not on. That's just not on. Moses is saying this performance should have started when they played TS Galaxy and Sekukun. As for Matt, uyachisa but akaqapheleki. I think that's what you're saying. Yeah, Matt Lisa, guys. Like, it's just that we are yet to see a mistake that's leading to a goal from Umat. That is why we never really address how much Umat is not playing well. Like, Umat is not playing well at all. Like, at all. And I don't understand. There's still this idea Guti he plays better than Usteb. A lot of people have been saying Usteb is not Kaizer Chiefs material. But look, in the past 7 games that Chiefs have played, whenever Umat is available, whenever Usteb is not available, Chiefs plays better. But still Umat still waste isn't. Because even when Umat was not available and Uzwane played with Usteb, they still played well. Better than Umat and Ustebe when they are together. Ustebe and Uzwane do better than Ustebe and Umat. The combinations. And Umat and Uzwane kuvele kube enye nje into nje. It's all over because defensively suke singekho sound. Offensively we're all over because we're rushing things. So Umat ngempela needs to fix his form, otherwise he will be out kwayena. Bruce is saying, as for Andile Charlie, a pirate is always a pirate. Let him join where it started at Pirates. Yeah, akahlale la akabuyele kuyibhaka juju njalo. Tsepo, okay, Tsepo sengimphendlile. Moses is saying the real problem is that Chiefs doesn't have engine in that midfield. Is why ingalibambi ibhola le Chiefs. I think beyond that though. I think it goes beyond that. Because I think mina kunenkinga nje serious yokuthi we have this rush of the blood into the brain yokuthi let's just go and score now. Even if kune block, like there was a block of white shirts at the weekend, there was a block of maroon shirts in front of us, but we're forcing, like, let's go score now. Why? There is no space. Play the ball around, move them around. No. All the time, Tinameles forces into. Relax. It gave you 90 minutes and you only need one opportunity to break it defense, score a goal. Then all of a sudden, they will be in trouble. So I think in King Guti, we like rushing things too much. Joel is saying Dupre and Sahel need to start working together. When they do, they will become the most dangerous duo. True. Selfishness iyavela, and I saw someone, because I commented on Twitter about that. I tweeted that someone was like, yeah, but his selfishness helped him score a goal. I'm like, yeah, but he will score 1 in 10. But if you are not selfish, then Usaile passes Dupre, and Umat passes Umdu scores a goal. 1-0. Dupre passes Usaile 2-0. to pre-passive 3-0, to pre-passive 4-0, and by the time he takes his own shot, the game is 5-0. But there are already other chances that were missed because he was forcing things. So in the selfishness, it must fall because it hurts the team. Mandla is saying, I don't like how we played, but we need to always beat teams like Chippa, no matter how poor we are. So I can live with it for now. Yeah, my only thing is that if this was let's grind the results and win, then I'm okay with it. But if it was this is our plan, this is how we play, then I'm worried. Mandla is saying, can you just acknowledge how well Sithebe has improved? I know, I can't sit back and not praise this guy. Usithebe abantu, I said this earlier on ukuthi abantu nje usithebe nje akaze bamthanda iningi nje labantu. They've been saying no, he's not Kaizer Chiefs quality. They will still deny his greatness even namanje, even though he's been consistent for Chiefs. And it's clear, 7 games that we played, the 2 games that he wasn't in them, we drew, we lost. So that tells you how important he is to Chiefs. He comes back, we win again. So it gives you something more than all the other players that we have give you. Umhle is saying, I don't blame Atazwane Mena. We should have scored more goals. Yo, Lamachita awafuna ukuscora, but next game we should bench Umat. Umat ngempela, he does have to go to the bench. Please like the video. Please like the video. It needs to be benched because we can't keep on playing him ekubeni underperformer, and it's clear. And I think, yeah, uqinisile uJoel ukuthi being benched also helped him. Yeah, Umatina needs to be benched so that we can see ukuthi will it help him just as much as it also helped Sithebe as well. I hope it does get benched because against Swallows you're expecting okay, let's experiment with a different combo and see ukuthi does the combo work, because we cannot keep on nursing our feelings abadlali, because there was one who said we are not going to nurse players' feelings. Okay, let's not do it. Let's not nurse anyone's feelings. Let's not nurse anyone's. Lamza is saying, lol, Mdu should learn to pass the net, not want to destroy it. Yeah, he could have at least had a praise today. Khosi getting prepared for the 6th. True, yes, and he could take the second touch as well, because all the time at the first touch, but you could just push the ball and then take a shot. Also, if you are pushing the ball, kono like a video, then they unlike the video. That's why I don't like looking at the stats when I'm live, because I get distracted. Anyway, so yeah, Uguti do these snapshots. If you know Matt, they do it. Our players just like these snapshots and they don't work. They should stop doing them. Utemba is saying our boys cannot position themselves when we have the ball. Moving forward, they hide behind opponents. We can't utilize spaces. High quality is killing us, Buffet. Caleb syndrome. I was saying this so much about our wingers. Guti, they were just pinned against our fullbacks as if they were target men. They were not involving themselves in the game, and then were forcing the defenders to then play the ball long, which was like ridiculous. Umanda saying De Bruyne yesterday was just passing the net. Mdu needs to keep things simple. He can pass everyone on the field, but he can't pass the net. Ngazi noma ukufuna amagoli amakhulu, as long as it crosses, bona bafuna ukukhahlela nje, but it's all these things that they need to start looking at, because once again ama-analyst ethu akuphi to show them ukuthi ayibo, uyabo ukuthi what you're doing wrong. Matt, you see what you're doing wrong, you are rushing the ball too much, fix that. Moses is saying Saile must dribble and create chance, not lento yakhe ukutatazela when he's got the ball. Yabo Saile na he's getting this Khosi syndrome yokuthi when you have the ball you're trying to go forward all the time, even if you can just keep the ball, look for someone, pass them, make a run all the time. Calm down. South Pagamani is saying kade ngayibona indaba kaMatt ayikho. He likes to dribble opponents going backward. I wouldn't go as far as to say ayikho yakhe, but I will say which is massively out of form, and I think would benefit from staying on the bench, because if he goes on the bench and then he comes back 2 games later, then he will probably be much better than what he is right now. Mandla is saying Saile must touch and go simple. Try to not run the ball, and also don't jump straight. Sometimes curve the runs. Oh, don't run, not jump. Don't run straight. Yabona nje izinto lezi basic ukuthi how do you beat indaba yama offside trap? How do you make, if you are talking about that? Because I feel like that's also happened. Ukuthi vele kugijinwe. I don't know how many times I saw abadlali bethu be offside because they just ran into the offside. Kunama basics nje that it still amazes me how our players fail to do those basics. Joel is saying the current system needs to be improved. When they stopped with long balls, I saw a glimpse of hope. Exactly. Which would be somewhat of a compliment. Maybe Uzwane did talk to them, because the second half, I would say, was better than the first half, right? In terms of the kicking of the ball, it was better. It was improved. But it needs to stop from minute 1 against the Swallows. We want to just see the team being calm and composed at the back. Vincent is saying, I'm not happy with Sahel decision making. We were supposed to score more than with that guy, and Mdu needs to relax and just pass the net. The composure, I think it summarizes your comment when Vincent Uguti, Khosi Vincent Uguti, Chiefs does not have a composure in the final third. Because at times, there were times when we were playing, one we were still playing well. We would play the ball well from the back, progress into midfield. When we get forward, bo, yin manje. Like we final third, we just have this edge to just run for no particular reason. So it needs fixing. Impela. Because when we're there, you look like, if you go check, as you are saying, he must just relax and pass the net. If you look at Mdu's chances that he got, if he just pushes the ball one touch and then takes a shot, it's a completely different story. Like, he can do anything at that point, because there are rushing defenders who are trying to close him down after taking that first touch. So anything can happen. He can pick his spot, the ball can deflect and end up being a goal. But on his side, he will know what he was composed and he tried to score. So that's just the thing. Yoguti, composure, become. Ausbaba was saying, yeah, umtu ayikho lento ayenzayo. Twice ehluleka uscore while in a chance and space wavele wakhe intaba. Yes, composure is lacking too much. Like, njalo, calm down. Alex is saying, Pilom, I'm not happy at all by the way we play. I'm not. That makes the two of us. We were rushing things too much. And I said this earlier on. As long as this means it was just a way we're trying to grind results. But still, Nako, it still doesn't convince me. Our Mr. Manager saying, happy for to praise. He's becoming the striker they bought him for. As for being selfish, it's a striker's character, but it's really spoiling the team's chemistry, and hope we can have more team goals in the future. Agreed. Because one other thing is that in teams usually, like look at Real Madrid that won those 3 Champions Leagues in a row. Ronaldo was selfish, Benzema wasn't selfish. There's always one player who's going to be selfish in a team, but that's the main man. But manje, it's like wonke umuntu kuleya front three ufuna ukuba selfish. Sayile uzoba selfish. Udole uzoba selfish. Dupree abe selfish. Then you like, I mix masala phela le. Akekho ufuna ukupass. Bruce is saying, that should try to place a hot as a number 9. I'm sorry, I'm just imagining. I'm imagining Usekhota playing as a number 9. Lo mchita akana my brains lo. Well, unawo nkosi yami, I'm sorry. Okay, IQ yakhe when it comes to playing as a 9, he would be limited because there is no playing. He can't play with his back against the goal. Usekhota is a player who plays like this. Yabo mangathi udlalisa uSekhotha kanje, he needs to hold the ball and think and see the passes that are going on. That is why if you're a number 9, you need to be really smart. That's why Caleb cannot do that. So to Usekhotha, he still struggles with taking people bembheke kanje ipali phambi kwakhe. How much more mayibheke ipali semva kwakhe? I think it would be difficult. Maybe the net will also help stop him from running. I agree, Lapo. He has a potential of using his both legs. He's able to play all the wings position. I will say when Bruce, what he can do, probably, Uzwane, is put him on the right wing so that he can force him to cut in, because but if his goal is like his back is against the goal, it will be a problem. Uabfi is saying good winning of Kaizer Chiefs. Moses is saying if you can go back and watch stupid goals we missed and considered, we would have got position 2 without argument. I'm definitely, I'm sure about that. Without anything. Mr. Manager saying, Pilo, I'm definitely joining this channel as a member soon. Yeah, boo, enjoying the content. Siyabonga. Yes, and all of you guys, you can become a member. It's only 20 rands per month. Click the link on the description below and become a member. Danko lapho. Utsolo is saying, Ola Mpilo bro, Shabalala should have scored a hat-trick. It's this panicking, man. It's It's hurting them more than it's helping them. They should really calm down. Please like the video, by the way. And thank you so much for joining me once again. We won. We continue to contend for the top 3 position. Thank you so much for watching. There's no live stream today because we just had a live stream and a match. I will see you on the next one. And until next time, remember, equals Alpelu Moya.